The gift of Christmas Eve. The snow fell gently on Maple Street, each flake catching the warm glow of Christmas lights that adorned the brownstone buildings. It was Christmas Eve, and the world seemed wrapped in a blanket of peaceful silence. Inside his elegant townhouse, Marcus Richardson stood at the tall windows of his living room, watching the winter scene unfold before him. Marcus was a successful investment banker, a man who had built an empire from nothing but determination. And sleepless nights, his three-story home was decorated with the finest ornaments money could buy. A 12-foot Douglas fir stood in the corner, adorned with crystal baubles and golden ribbons. Everything was perfect, just as he demanded in all aspects of his life. Yet something felt hollow tonight. His 6-year-old daughter, Emma, sat cross-legged on the Persian rug, arranging her collection of toy horses in neat rows. She wore a red, velvet dress that cost more than most people spent on Christmas gifts, but her small face carried a sadness that expensive clothes couldn't hide. "Daddy," Emma said softly, not looking up from her toys, "do you think Mommy can see our Christmas tree from heaven?" Marcus felt his chest tighten. 3 years had passed since Sarah died in the car accident, and the question still caught him off guard. He had given Emma everything money could provide: the best schools, the finest clothes, toys that filled entire rooms, but he couldn't give her what she wanted most, her mother back, or a father who knew how to fill the emotional void that success couldn't touch. "I'm sure she can, sweetheart," Marcus replied, his voice gentle but distant. He had learned to give answers that soothed without promising too much. Emma nodded and returned to her horses, lining them up as if preparing for a parade that would never come. The grandfather clock in the hallway chimed 9 o'clock. Marcus glanced at his watch, a platinum Rolex that had been a gift to himself after closing a particularly lucrative deal. Emma should have been in bed an hour ago, but tonight felt different. Tonight, the usual rules seemed less important than simply being together in their quiet, expensive loneliness. A movement outside caught Marcus's eye. Through the falling snow, he could see someone near the green dumpster at the end of the street. The figure was hunched over, moving slowly, deliberately. Even from this distance, he could tell it was a woman, and she was searching through the trash. Marcus frowned. This was an affluent neighborhood. Homeless people rarely wandered this far from the shelters downtown. He watched for a moment, expecting her to move on. Instead, she seemed to be looking for something specific. "Emma, put on your coat," Marcus said suddenly. His daughter looked up, surprised. "Are we going somewhere, Daddy?" "Yes, we're going to help someone." Emma's eyes brightened, the first real spark Marcus had seen in them all evening. She scrambled to her feet and ran to the front closet, pulling out her pink winter coat with its fluffy white trim. Marcus grabbed his long black overcoat and opened the front door. The cold air hit them immediately, sharp and clean. Emma slipped her small hand into his large one. As they walked down the snow-covered steps, the woman at the dumpster hadn't noticed them approaching. She was young, probably in her 20s, with blonde hair that hung in tangled waves around her shoulders. Her clothes were layers of mismatched fabrics, a torn gray hoodie over what looked like a summer dress, boots that had seen better years. But what struck Marcus most was how carefully she was searching, as if she knew exactly what she was looking for. "Excuse me," Marcus called out gently, not wanting to startle her. The woman spun around, her eyes wide with fear. In her arms, she clutched a white envelope and what appeared to be pieces of torn paper. "I'm sorry," she said quickly, taking a step back. "I wasn't stealing anything. I was just looking for Amy. I dropped something earlier, and I thought maybe." Her voice trailed off as she realized how her explanation sounded. Marcus studied her face in the streetlight. Beneath the dirt and exhaustion, he could see intelligence in her green eyes. And something else, a determination that reminded him of himself in his younger days. "What did you drop?" Emma asked, stepping forward with the fearless curiosity of childhood. The woman looked down at Emma, and her expression softened. "A letter," she said quietly, "a very important letter." "What kind of letter?" Marcus asked, genuine curiosity replacing his initial concern. The woman hesitated, then held up the white envelope and the torn pieces. "It's a job offer," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "I start work on January 2nd at Henderson & Associates downtown. It's not much, just a receptionist position, but it comes with health insurance and enough to rent a small apartment." She paused, looking embarrassed. "I was so excited when I got it this afternoon that I was reading it while I walked. The wind caught it, and, well, some of it blew into the dumpster. I need to have it for my first day. It has all the details. The floor number, my supervisor's name, my employee ID number." Marcus felt something shift inside his chest. This wasn't what he had expected to find. This was someone fighting her way back up, someone who understood that opportunity was fragile and had to be protected. "Henderson & Associates," he repeated thoughtfully. "I know Bill Henderson. Good firm. How did you hear about the position?" "The job center, downtown. I've been looking for 3 months." She clutched the pieces of paper closer. "I know how this looks, me digging through trash on Christmas Eve. But this job, it's everything. It's my chance to start over. Emma tugged on her father's coat. "Daddy, can we help her find the missing pieces?" Before Marcus could respond, Emma had walked to the dumpster and was peering inside with the determination of someone on an important mission. "Emma, be careful," Marcus said, but he was already moving to help. For the next 20 minutes, the three of them searched through the relatively clean contents of the dumpster. Most of it was recyclables and food containers from the nearby restaurants. Finally, Emma's small voice called out triumphantly, "I found something." She held up a piece of paper with the Henderson and Associates letterhead. The woman's face lit up with relief. "That's it. That's the piece with my start date and supervisor information." As they helped piece the letter back together under the streetlight, Marcus learned more about the woman. Her name was Rachel. She had been an art teacher before her life fell apart, lost her job due to budget cuts, then her apartment when she couldn't make rent, then her car when she couldn't make payments. She'd been staying at the women's shelter downtown, taking odd jobs and saving every penny for the security deposit on an apartment. "Teaching was my passion," Rachel said as they carefully taped the letter back together with tape Marcus had retrieved from his house. "But sometimes life takes you in directions you never planned. The important thing is to keep moving forward." Emma listened to every word, her young mind absorbing this lesson about resilience and hope. When the letter was finally reassembled, Marcus looked at Rachel thoughtfully. "You know, I might be able to help with more than just the letter." Rachel's eyes grew wary. "I appreciate what you've already done, but I don't want charity." "It's not charity," Marcus said. "I'm going to call Bill Henderson tomorrow. Not to influence his decision about your job, you earned that on your own. But I'm going to tell him about tonight, about your determination to protect what matters to you. I think he'd be interested to know what kind of person he's hired." Rachel's eyes filled with tears, but she held them back. Marcus continued, "And I have a guest room in my house. It's going to be empty for the next week anyway. If you'd like a safe, warm place to stay until you can get your apartment sorted out. Daddy," Emma whispered, pulling on his coat again. "Ask her if she wants to have Christmas with us tomorrow. Our tree is really pretty, and Mrs. Patterson made way too much food." Rachel looked from Marcus to Emma, then back again. For the first time that evening, she smiled, a real smile that transformed her entire face. "I would like that very much," she said quietly, as they walked back toward the house. Emma chattering excitedly about Christmas morning plans. Marcus realized something had changed. The hollow feeling that had followed him through the evening was gone. In its place was something warmer, something that reminded him of the early days of his marriage when he and Sarah would volunteer at the soup kitchen every Christmas Eve. Emma had her hand in Rachel's now, the two of them walking ahead, while Marcus followed behind. He thought about the expensive gifts waiting under his perfect tree, and how none of them would mean as much as this unexpected gift. They had all given each other tonight. Sometimes the most valuable things couldn't be bought. Sometimes they were found in the most unlikely places, by people brave enough to keep searching even when the world seemed dark and cold. This Christmas Eve, a millionaire had found more than just a homeless woman digging through trash. He had found a reminder of who he used to be and who he wanted to become again. And Emma had found something to the knowledge that kindness was always possible, even on the coldest nights. As they reached the front steps of the townhouse, the snow continued to fall, covering their footprints and making everything clean and new once more.